call. Hi, Nikunj.
Hi everyone. Hi Amit. Hi Suma and hi Arohi. Good to see you guys.
Yeah. So thank you everyone. Neeraj, has the live stream started?
Yes.
All right. So hi everyone. First of all, thank you so much for joining today's session. Let me quickly give an introduction for the sake of the candidates of whoever is here from different companies. So we have Arohi from Incubyte, we have Suma from Ganit Inc, and we have Amit from CK12 Foundation. Right. So hi everyone. Welcome. So basically, our intention of this session was to connect both the sides, right? The companies and the candidates, so that they can relate more with each other, they can connect for all the right reasons, and they can ask the questions that matter to them the most. That was the intention. And we understand that candidates have different platforms where they can go and search about certain companies, get to know some things, but the right kind of stories that the recruiters, the founders who want to put it out there, that's missing. There's a platform that's missing where these people can come, tell the stories behind their companies, tell their philosophies behind the why of these companies. And that's where this session our intention is to help candidates understand all of that through this session. Having said that, in the past 2 years, a lot of things have changed. COVID has made us realize, it has changed our work scenario and has made us realize that we are actually tackling a lot of other things while we're working. We have actually faded the lines between our work and our office and our home, all of that. And it's just come together and everybody's working and doing other things at the same time. Right. So we have understood that we are actually human beings that are managing all of these things. And when we're looking out for talent, we are also wanting to look out for such similar human beings. And that's also another intention of this call, to connect that sort of human beings with the human beings on this call. Right. So moving to the questions now, the first thing that I was actually talking about this before the call actually started live streaming to Arohi and Suma. I was talking about what's your working scenario? Like, are you working from home? Are you working for office? So putting that question out there again for the candidates, how is your work scenario? Anybody can take it up.
So I'll start. I hope I'm audible.
Yes.
So even before pandemic, we were, as an organization, acoustic to different location constraints. So we do have our physical offices in Chennai, Bangalore, and Mumbai, but we do have our employees across pan India. So we were okay if employees wanted to work from office or work from home. And also, if we have certain employees in one particular location, we used to create off-site locations for them to come together and work. So pandemic has helped us streamline this process in a much better way, but we were always acoustic to that.
Right.
I can go next.
Yeah, sure.
So like we were talking just a couple of minutes earlier, we actually started off just a few months before all the lockdowns hit. So we started off, we were just a few people in the team, and then of course all the lockdown. So we've been born and brought up, I would say, as a remote company, and we continue to be remote. That's one of our strengths. We've developed internal practices and procedures through which we thrive by being remote. A lot of our employees love to take vacations. You know, somebody will be working from Goa, somebody will be working from Uttarakhand in the mountains, and you know, they can have their freedom and their own time, as well as being productive and able to do really, really cool creative work. So yeah, we're still remote and planning to be remote for the foreseeable future as well.
Got it.
So yeah, we at CK12 think we have been working from office till the pandemic hit us, and we've worked out. I think remote has worked out quite well for us. But at the same time, I think many of our employees who are in Bangalore, so our main office is in Bangalore only, and they, I think, since August or so, we have been, meeting from time to time, to the point where we, a couple of days, many of us just go to offices and meet. But given the current situation of the pandemic and all that, I think remote working continues to be as well the way to go.
Right, right. So even we had been working remotely, and we have recently moved to an office setup where some of us are still remote and some of us are in office. So I want to understand, how do you manage the communication part of it? Like, how do you make sure that everything is communicated right on time and it's executed the way it should be? So that's a question to anyone. You can start.
So let me take that the first thing. One thing, what I think all of this working remotely has taught us is that it's much more important to be on Slack, on whatever the communication channel that you're using, and it's encouraged. One of the things that we say is that whenever you are interacting and all that, try to do that with camera feed on, because it's kind of, it doesn't replace the face-to-face, but seeing the other person helps to have the ideas across. And like otherwise just a lower bar in terms of if the communication over Slack, the text things aren't that working, don't be hesitant, get onto a online call pretty quickly.
Yeah, and to add to that, I'd have to say the trust factor, right? Not being able to be together physically in a room, I think we've started to trust our colleagues so much more. A lot more about autonomous work culture has come in, where everybody is expected to do what's on their plate, right? And nobody is there to handhold you or really speed you with a little spoon that, okay, now you've got to do this or now you've got to do that. You've got to own a little bit of your growth journey. You've got to own your work. Like if you hit a roadblock, you go and reach out to somebody, you ask the questions, you be the leader of what's on your plate. And I think that's made everybody a lot more mature and independent in how they work as well.
Got it. Yes,
I do agree with Arohi that yes, the accountability factor has definitely increased, because now that we are, of course, we are working as a team, but then again, it's virtual. So we are also self-dependent. So the accountability factor has definitely increased. So in order to ensure that we are not losing that feel of a physical environment, which obviously new normal has taught us, we do have regular stand-up meetings every day. We start our day with all our team members, wherein we come into video call, discuss what we have learned or what we have done. Yes, is the agenda that we would like to do for today. So setting up the right expectations with the team, that what is expected to come out of the day's work, and sharing and understanding the concerns is one thing. Though we start our day and then we all get busy in giving the deliverables expected from us, we also are a flat organization wherein we are very much ready to help and support anybody who needs it. It's just, we are just one ping away or one call away. It's true that the trust factor has increased, and also I think the virtual environment has made us be more available and aware of the requirement of our team members and the organization, that we are always reachable to one another. Yes, we are not able to meet physically and have that turnaround moments in the office, but I guess we really learned to bridge our bonding extremely strong without not making a physical office a mandate for it.
I understand. Got it. So I am assuming that all of you are working from home right now, right? So can you just quickly turn your camera and show us how your workspace looks like right now?
Sure, let me remove my filter so that I can show the actual.
Yeah.
So I have a study room dedicatedly, which has a very bright sunlight window. If I remove the shades, it's even brighter. And I have a bookshelf at one side. And I have a very plain background because any sort of image would kind of set the mood. So I wanted it to be quite open, like how the day runs and drives me. So it's always ready for the new challenges and new opportunities.
Nice. Let me just show you around.
Yeah.
So working at my place, so there are a few books in the background and all that. And I love to have a standing desk as well. And I love to stay near this window, which provides good amount of natural light for the meetings.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's great.
I like to move around during the day. I have different places in the house where I sit during different times of the day. So yeah, actually we have a good opportunity to be outdoors because the weather is good. So I end up working from my garden in the evenings, and in the afternoon I'm just here in the living room. So yes, that's the flexibility that is I enjoy it. Yeah.
That's great. So moving on further, you guys have been associated with your companies for some time now. So can you tell us two things that you really like about being there, and two things that you would want to change, you want to improve on? Some message for the candidate.
Sure, I can go. The two things that I really love about my company are I think the first one is the amount of trust and the amount of confidence and the amount of freedom that we are each person is given. So it's a really long rope that everyone is given on how they can do their work, what time they want to do it, to how they want to do it, what tools they want to use. You can voice your opinions, you can fight for your own battles and decide which way the company can go. Secondly, I love the kind of people that work here. Everybody has an extremely curious bent of mind. They're all reading a lot of books all the time, be it technical or be it fiction or be it anything. People are talking about anime, people are talking about sitcoms, people are talking about movies, books, everything. So there's a lot to learn on the cultural aspect as well as the technical aspect from the teammates. So I like the quality of people. I think what I'd like to learn is to be able to I think learn faster. So right, that's a skill that we're still getting at on hiring people for trainability, and then training people in a way that they can accomplish to their full potential. So I want our company to grow more in that direction. Yeah, I think that's the only one that I have for now.
Great.
Let me go next. So one of the things that I love about CK12, and let me just introduce CK12, that we are an ed tech and a content platform, and we are not for profit. So whatever that we are offering is for free. And in that way, one of the things that attracted me to join CK12 also was that this fact that we are providing whatever we are providing for free makes us very much true to and grounded in terms of how we are really how we are measuring our impact. So this doesn't happens to be in terms of artificially acquiring users and all that. Eventually it's all driven by what's the kind of learning outcome impact that I can drive for the students that are coming on the platform, or to the teachers in terms of delivering the education in a better way in their classrooms as well. So that's something that I really like about the organization, and the fact that a lot of us are having education kind of a background as well, have been passionate about education, and everyone has been in their own journey to be a lifelong learner. One of the things that I want to I heard the question in terms of what is it that the message that I would give to the candidates, etc. in terms of some things that I want to see us mature as a community, is that I think as a developers, as they grow, like you'll very soon realize that the skills and the technology and the tool that you're using, those at the end of the day are just that. What really matters and kind of matters in the long term and at the end is that what is it that I've done with those tools? What's the product that we have delivered? What's the kind of value that we have delivered to the end users and the impact? So I think it's a long-term game, but if you focus on the impact and the way that you make your life of your customers better, that usually I think that works out better in the long term than being on the JavaScript or this library, that library kind of a skill set.
Right. Okay, Suma, you can go ahead.
So I would like to address this question in two different aspects. So when you put your question forward, you asked how we feel and also what we would like to convey to the candidates. So as an employee of the organization, by my nature, even I am an employee of the organization. So one thing that I was extremely excited and attracted towards it is the passion that drives each and every person and the support they are ready to extend. As I've mentioned, we are a flat organization. So any person can reach out to any other person for help. It doesn't have to be a manager or a senior management person. Even to peer level, somebody from other team members also. It's just that you should know that the person knows that skill and he'll be able to help us. And if I can just ping them, they're ready to help me. So, and the passion that drives the employees, because everybody is extremely interested in the area of data science and data analytics. So they are extremely geeks kind of scenario that they drives any topic, any kind of a seminar or any topic, any new innovation in that area really excites them. And that's kind of a passion motivates us as well. So that is one thing I liked it. And if I have to tell candidates why Ganit, it's a wonderful platform for a steep learning curve. And it's a very wonderful platform for you to improve your work density, wherein the amount of time you do a particular work keeps on enhancing as you keep doing today. By tomorrow, the span would reduce and you're ready for new opportunities and new learnings. So we encourage everybody to go with the flow in order to take up the steep learning curve, and we strongly measure and promote work density to our employees.
Got it. So on that note, like everybody of you mentioned that what are some things that you really like as an employee about the organization and some things that you would want the organization to improve on. So is there anything that the employee would do that will get them fired right there? Like apart from the non-performance or the ethics part, anything that can instantly get them fired from the organization?
I wouldn't put it so harsh that fired, but yeah, we should also, it's a mutual respect, right? Because what we are able to provide is a steep learning curve and a wonderful platform for them to enhance their work time. But other than the regular statutory compliance requirements like discipline or integrity, if somebody is not ready for this steep learning curve journey, if they are looking forward for a stagnant learning or very slow learning, we have to respect their interest. So we do respect that and we would let them go, but we would not term it as fired types. But yeah, we would respect their decision.
Mm-hmm.
I think for us, if it has to be something that's extreme, that, okay, if you do this, you'll absolutely get fired, has to do with intentions. So if you intentionally are causing harm to a client's project, or it was a basic gross negligence, like basics, some things like security, or, leaving your laptop or the code base open to people who do not have the NDA access, or breaching the NDA for that matter. I think those would be the extreme cases in which it would lead to an immediate separation. Gross negligence and intent to create misuse, I would say.
Okay. Got it.
I'll tackle it along with a bit of a work culture, because then we believe that we are all dealing with mature adults and who are passionate about the mission and they're hungry for the impact. But at the same time, we do expect and we also think are very upfront and transparent from our side, and we like no sugarcoating and those kind of things. Just be upfront and be factful. So one of the sure shot way that one would get fired is that if someone deliberately tells lies or tries to hide the true information. That would be the sure shot way to get fired.
Right. Okay. Got it.
Supriya, I have one question, Supriya.
Yeah.
Sorry, this is Anupran. I am from the customer success team. I have one question for all of you. Since you guys just mentioned that two things that you like about, or few things that you like about your working with your company, I would like to ask you from your team members' perspective that what if I go and ask them what are the two things that they don't like about your company or the work, or if let's say if we specifically talk about coders, developers, so what are those two things?
It drills down to the same thing. So somebody who is looking for a very stagnant learning and who is not ready to pick up the speed, the way the organization is evolving, or the opportunity that is being laid to them to learn and grow, I guess those people will not be happy. Those kind of employees will not be excited working with us. But as I already mentioned, that is the only factor which would drive them away from the actual organization's core.
Okay, so is that happening? Like, are there people who are not like coping up with the pace that you have?
See, yeah, it happens, right? It always happens. It's kind of a loop that people who can't handle that kind of a stress and who wanted to maybe be little slow. I mean, I'm like, acha, okay, let's learn it slowly. There is no hurry. Yeah, that do happen. And then there is new blood always comes in who are like, okay, the technologies are evolving. We should pick up the speed and we should do the full throttle marathon. Those will come in. So it's a loop. It's a beautiful journey as a whole, getting to know new people, getting new blood. And that energy is also added to the organization to grow and evolve. That's good.
Okay.
I have one thing, Anupran, that is a little bit of a pet peeve. Okay. So definitely the learning one that Suma mentioned, I agree with that as well. People who are willing to learn, people who have an open mind are absolutely the cream, the top notch. And that's a skill that we all need to have in this growing fast-paced environment, not just technical people, but everybody else as well. Apart from that, the skill that I think is really important, and if people don't have it, it sometimes gets to me, is about ownership, right? So if somebody has basically assigned you a task and you're not able to complete it, okay, for whatever reason, maybe you didn't have access to this, or maybe, you weren't added to that, or maybe, you asked somebody a question and they haven't replied yet, or something of that sort. And for that reason, you haven't been able to complete that task. Maybe the task is small or a huge project, whatever it may be. But once that task is in your bucket, in my perspective, it's on you to complete it. So you get that answer from that person. If that person isn't answering, go and ask that question to another person, ask 10 people that question. If you have a block or you don't have access, figure out how to get that access. Get the job no matter what, I think.
Okay. So as a candidate, is it safe to say that if I don't like to take ownership in general, if I just want to do my work and chill out, Incubyte is not the kind of company that I should apply to?
So do my work and chill out also includes do my work part, right? So if any work has been assigned to you, the expectation is set that, okay, Anupran is a responsible, mature adult. If a work has been given to him, he will complete it. That's the expectation that is there.
Okay.
We won't keep asking you, okay, what happened? What happened? Where are you on it? We'll ask you to come to us. Okay, this is the update. This is the state.
Got it.
Your question was about that. If you ask, someone, what would they complain about?
Yeah.
I think a bit of it still comes from the folks who are on board, but I think we address it largely when we, bring people on board. Is that if you are, if someone is expecting about, like so-called, the benefits of a large corporation, that by design doesn't have. So if someone is expecting, plush tennis court to play around and all that, game rooms, those kind of things. So we have a pretty, good setup. But those kind of so-called luxuries, I think in a way, I think we don't. And like most of the times, I think that gets communicated clearly enough during the interviewing process itself. But some people do complain about from, or like rave about from time to time, and we do try to make that up from the perspective of doing certain activities or like with the team bonding and gelling within the team. But
Okay.
at the same time, what we also the kind of folks that we are looking at is that when we ask or assign something to you, it is not typically at a task level. And what's most important is that I'm not just telling you how to do something or what to do, but it's very important for the leaders in the organizations as well as the leaders who are leading the projects is to be able to communicate why. So then I think we leave at the individuals in terms of figuring out that what exactly is the feature that you want to build in? How do you, what is going to be the shape and form of this feature, or how this is going to be implemented? Definitely, I think left to you, because we trust that you are the best, the knower of the technology and everything. So very important in order to have that ownership is that we convey, and that's something that we I particularly try to ensure that I do all the time, is that for anyone, for their project, anybody in the team, they should be able to connect that, hey, why are we doing this thing, and be able to connect it with the mission. What is it that is at the priority of the organization at this point of time?
Okay, that answers my questions. But I have a follow-up question here. I'm sure you guys have kind of figured it out. But what is the number one reason, or let's say top two reasons of team members leaving your company? Why you're like, if I'm sure you must have figured it out. So what are those reasons? Top reason or top two reasons?
Okay, so I can, let me just take that first. So I think if I look at some of my recent exits, this have been around some people who also have the anxiety of, doing or starting up something. And that happens to be these recent and being at times, opportunities in terms of, probably everything this has been around recently, which is to, relocate to different countries. So getting to international locations in terms of their opportunities and all that. That's primarily the reasons that I look at my last 3 exits. These have been the reasons.
Yeah.
Okay.
We've seen that as well. We've seen people moving abroad. That's been one of our top attrition reasons. Yeah, and I think also depends across the spectrum. If it's somebody that we've hired right out of college versus somebody who's come in with 10 years of experience, the reasons are very, very different. If it's a campus hire, somebody who we hired as a fresher, then sometimes it also is that they want to try out different work cultures. They want to see what's out there. That's also something that we've seen. They just, want to explore, and yeah, can't stop you doing that.
Okay.
Yeah, there are many exits that like I do feel bad about the immediate But overall, the bad taste, and I think those are like right, okay things to have.
Mhm. Okay. That's it. So I don't have any else, like more questions. Supriya can continue.
Right. All right. Thanks, Anujan. So since we're talking about Tectonic and the technical folks who are watching this video, I just wanted to understand what is your philosophy when it comes to compensation of these people who would be joining or who are with you, given the market is so competitive. How do you tackle that part?
Okay. Yeah, let me go first on that. Because we do like when we are hiring and all that. So don't claim to be the top payer and all that. But we are fairly competitively placed. I would say that probably 80-90 percentile. But really, my compensation philosophy is Daniel thing, which is about the best use of the money is to keep the issue. So if I'm not paying someone well enough, and so that like it's always in your mind that hey, you are underpaid and all that, that's wrong. But at the same time, if because the candidates or the talent that we would hire, I'm pretty sure that if you go out in the job, you would be able to get next like few percentage increases. That would always be happening. But if these are the things that are in your mind all the time, then I think we have done wrong. And I would like to compensate so that the issue of the money is out of your mind.
As an organization has a different stand for CTC or CTC negotiation part. So generally we are not worried, absolutely not worried about their current CTC or what is the offer that they're having in hand. Okay, but we do have a very unique interview structure. So all we expect the candidate is, if they can prove their capability and their commitment and passion towards the particular role that they have applied, and the feedback turns out to be really, really good. I mean, like, obviously, right, when we take the interview process, we do have the feel factor. When they go through the interview process, the feedback comes out and we'll be like, yes, this is the kind of candidate we want to hire. He will bring a lot of value to the plate. So those kind of scenarios, we are ready to offer them whatever the candidate has asked for, trusting them strongly that they would deliver what we expected out of them.
Yeah, so I agree. I think it's definitely a two-way street, right? Like we're really happy to have somebody who's passionate, who's talented, who follows the right coding practices, who believes in the quality concepts that we really believe in. We're really happy to have those people on board. And we want the other person on the other side of the table to be equally happy, right? Which is why we don't do that many offer negotiations. Right? We try and see what is a number that would make the person on the other side of the table happy. And then we see if that we can afford that. If not, then we'll just clearly say that, you know what, hey, we can't afford you right now. Right? And then if they still want to come on at a lower number, then yeah, we try and see what best we can do. Sorry, I'm just getting messages from my teams looking at that. Yeah, and on the CTC structure, we've tried to make our CTC structure in a way that that actually transfers the most benefit to our team members, right? So we have least number of deductions. The only deductions that are there in your monthly pay are the ones that are statutory. So you have your PF deduction, you have your professional tax deduction, as well as the TDS, which of course is tax which you get back at the end of the year if possible. Apart from that, there are no hidden deductions in the CTC. What you see is what you get in the offer. If we've offered you 5, then that's what you're getting at the end of the month as well.
Understood. So great compensation philosophies. All of you have a similar or a slightly varying take on that. So when you are looking for somebody, looking at a talent, and taking them through the process, what is something that would, make them stand out? Obviously, apart from the skills that they have, what is it that would make them stand out?
So one of the, so yeah, let me go first. Let me just go on that. So one of the things that I think several of you have that talked about is the notion of, the ownership, and also at times, many people, I think many of the candidates, I think you write your project descriptions and the things in the resume, but at times it would be very useful for your resume to stand out also, is if you can qualify that with what exactly was your role and your accomplishment in the projects. And typically during the interviewing process, of course, I think in terms of the skill assessment and all those things, when that works, that's great. But the things that then stand out is that if I can see that from the past as well, that, hey, this person's understanding of what they have done and their impact is like their understanding of, and they're very clear about, how this thing was done and what their exact role was, and what was a challenging problem that they solved, that they are really proud of, and that passion oozes out in the interview process. That's like very gratifying to see, and that typically happens to be the sign of like really good candidates.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. So passion, definitely. And the way that I try to look for passion when I do interviews myself is I generally ask people on what they've been reading, if they've been reading a lot of really cool technical journals, books, or even non-technical stuff, and if they can tell me something really cool that I could learn from them, I definitely consider that as a standout. Secondly, we actually do believe a lot in giving back to the community. So Incubyte is the founder and the sponsor for a software craftsmanship community. It's hosted on Meetup. I can send you guys the link in the chat soon. And we do a lot of talks on the best practices around programming, how to do what you're doing to ensure the right kind of quality. Right. So people who actually understand the concept of craftsmanship, understanding the reasons behind why they're doing a certain thing. Okay, everybody's heard about TDD, but why do you do TDD? All right. People are starting to use gherkin and cucumber for testing, but why is it that you are actually using gherkin and cucumber? What's the end goal of that? Is something that would really stand out if people learned why you're doing a certain thing. Second thing is a learning mindset. If you're somebody who is just super curious, you just keep on learning and learning new things, and that's something that keeps giving you power. That's definitely something that stands out. Blogging, writing stuff that you've learned. We definitely believe that teaching something that you've learned actually makes you learn it a bit better. Every time that you talk about it or every time you write about it to somebody, it makes you internalize the concepts better and makes you learn those concepts better. So a lot of our people internally are also bloggers, and we also do internal talks, to share knowledge and to make sure that, everybody's learning from each other because we have such awesome people. Yeah, so I think I touched upon quite a few variety of subjects, but different things stand out in different people. One person might not necessarily have everything, and you don't need to have everything, but even one thing can make you stand out.
So Ganit as an organization provides a very huge platform for learning, because we do have our presence in different domains, and we are specialized in retail, CPG, pharmaceuticals, and hospitality domains. So basically, any employee who is having 3 years, worked in 3 years in Ganit, is equal to any other 5 years experienced employee in an MNC. So that's the kind of learning curve we provide and opportunities we provide. So if somebody is ready to take up new opportunities, maybe they would have only experience in one domain, but there is an opportunity for them to shift, learn new things in a different domain. And if they are the one who can grab it immediately, and they're like, yes, I will do it, I will learn and give my 100%, we welcome those kind of those kind of candidates to apply, and we ensure that they will have a wonderful learning curve in it.
Understood.
I have one question, Supriya. So I was just thinking about this a point. So since we talk to a lot of companies and candidates on daily basis, one theme I have observed specifically when I talk to female developers, female coders, right? So not sure if it happens in your company or not, but it is happening a lot. Female developers, they face a lot of workplace bias when it comes to solving challenging problem, when it comes to their leads distributing challenging problems. Most often it happens that it goes to male colleagues more than female colleagues, and then becoming a lead or becoming a CTO, VP, it's quite difficult for them in a workplace that is more than 50 people or 100 people, where there are more males than females. So this is the context, but my question is that as a female candidate, how my experience will be in your company, how different it can be as compared to my male counterparts?
For us, it's an equal opportunity. We strongly believe in talent, and we don't believe in bifurcating male employees, female employees. We are absolutely into cultural diversity. We do have employees from different genre, different regions as well, and also from both male and female diversity is also very well there. We don't believe or encourage such kind of biasness because as HR I speak, I also speak as an employee, so I can vouch on it that there is no such thing. We don't entertain all those.
Okay.
Yeah, so actually, I think I also get a little uncomfortable, I think, when we ask these questions, because frankly, at the CK12, we, in the interviewing process or anything, I think we, we never, I think, we don't even, I think, consider that as part of our thought process or like while doing the work as well. So, but just I think the statistical facts also just remain that, the male to female, the ratios in the organization or in the teams, I think remains very the male driven and all that. But once you are in the organization, the fact that you are what's your gender doesn't even cross once in the conversations.
Okay, that's great.
About the tech team, and I have a similar challenge in terms of what we call as the subject matter experts or the content team, where more of that happens to be females.
Okay.
Just like that's the like in terms of the candidates that we're looking for and what talent was available at that time and who happened to apply, it just happens to be a reflection of that.
Okay.
I guess, Anupran, to your question, to answer it precise, I guess I understand the question related to gender diversity because it's a factor that we are fighting since long time. But if you observe the trend of organizations which have started just 5 or 10 years back, in the last span of 10 years, when the startups have started and evolved, I guess that concept of gender diversity is not there. Maybe earlier organizations, because they're old and the mindsets when people have started their organizations would have been that thing. But I guess recent organizations, I don't think that kind of concept, even they have it in their mind, because we are already evolved with the concept that everybody is proving the talent.
So I have one point there. It's a nice point. So when I say that I have, we talk to these candidates and all. So from organization perspective, from a founder perspective, from someone who is building culture, I'm sure you guys are focusing on these things. But when it comes to actual human beings, as Supriya was talking about, you have a team of 50 people and there are a lot of people and you actually can't control what they say and what actions they take. So when it comes to work, many times it happens that this bias reflects when those female candidates talk to their male developers, and and specifically the theme that I told you is about giving challenging and complex problems to solve, right? So I'm sure it's not happening in your company, but I see a difference between what an organization say as a part of a culture and what actually happens when it comes to day-to-day work.
Yeah, so Anupran, to that effect, we what we do actually internally is a self sign up. All right, there is a task on the board. It has all the complexity, it has the story points, it has the acceptance criteria, it has everything noted on the task, right? It's open to the whole team. There are women, men, everybody in the team. You yourself decide as an individual, and not as a man or a woman. As an individual, you decide whether you are yourself capable of doing that task or not. And if you are, then in the iteration planning, you self sign up for it. And again, I come back to accountability. When you have signed up for it, then you're accountable for it, right? And then you take ownership and you see it through till the end. So it's not just about policies and not just about talk, but actually on a day-to-day basis, you are looked upon as individuals, as people who are contributing value, and not as a man or a woman.
Okay. So, do you want to say anything? Yeah, Amit, go ahead.
Just the fact that I was just talking about is that, in fact, like our founder and CEO happens to be a woman. I think she's.
Okay.
We have women at the top.
That's great to know. Any again a follow-up question to this specific point. So we were having me and Nikunj, we were having a conversation with a couple of companies where we asked this question, and then Nikunj asked a very interesting question in a different way. So I'll just continue the legacy there. Dil pe haath rakh ke batao कि कंपनी में फीमेल और मेल कैंडिडेट्स की सैलरी सेम है क्या?
Absolutely, totally same.
Yes.
In fact,
it's talent.
Yeah. And our co-founder is a woman, of course, and yeah. She does more than everybody else.
So I'm pretty confident. Yes. Do you want any other book that we need to owe? I am ready to do that because it's absolute talent. Yeah.
Okay, that's great. Okay, so let's just we have one last interesting thing to discuss. Not interesting thing, but what you can do is you can just quickly in a minute you can just pitch to the candidates who are watching and who will be watching later this video why they should come and join your company and why they should not. So
maybe
an
a line,
honest appeal.
Yeah, maybe a line like a bit about your company, what exactly your company does, what kind of people you're looking for, what are 2 things that people should join you for, and what are the 2 things that people should not join you for.
Yeah.
Right. So can you go just first on that?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. So talk about CK12. So as I just said that we are a content and technology edtech platform focused on K-12 STEM education, the science and math. And so we are on a mission to enable equal access to education for every kid on the planet. And we believe that it's the technology that is going to play the key role into scale the education in this way. We have chosen to be nonprofit so that we can effectively realize our mission, and so that we can also do the right things and the big bold things. And ours is a company which is backed by Vinod Khosla, who is a very renowned technology the VC. And right now, I think what we are working on is a lot of interactivity and the intelligence in the platform, which makes the self-learning for the middle school and the high school kids on these topics. Now, we have several positions open, back-end developer, front-end developers at various experience levels. So I think I'll encourage anyone who is interested in the mission and has the tech chops so that they can realize this mission. I think I'll encourage them to join. Now, some of the things that the couple of things I would say that you can expect and could be the reasons for you to join is that here you're going to be working with a multidisciplinary teams, not just the development, but all across the various job functions, which is launching the international products. Okay. And these are the products which would, could be changing lives for a lot of the students who do not have the right resources and the means to do it. So it's a really noble mission. And at CK12, you're going to be working with very high quality peers. So this part of that, we expect that anyone new that joins to the team, one of the evaluation criteria from the team also happens to be that, hey, I think, what did you find in this new candidate that you think you can learn from them? So, and this is one of the things that the team have been quite selective about, and I'm really proud for that. Few of the things that would not work for you to, or those would be the reasons why you would not want to join CK12 is that if you're looking for quick jumps, then CK12 is not the place to be. I think you should join if you are in game for the long term and can see through the longer term impact of the things. And in that respect, I think we also strongly believe that we learn a lot and most from our mistakes. So unless you have made certain bad decisions, have lived through the consequences of it, have shipped the product, looked at how it is doing in the market, iterated and done all of that, the real growth comes from it. So, and if you're like not willing to invest that kind of time into it, then CK12 is not the place to be.
Cool. I'll go next. So Incubyte, we are a software services company. We work on our clients' projects, right? And the reason that we were founded, like I said, 2 years ago, just before COVID hit, was actually to bring the whole product mindset into services. So to give a little bit of background, both our founders were from, of course, product-based companies. They were heading their companies in their own way. And what they realized over a period of 10, 15 years that they've been working over there was that the perception of India or services in India, it might or might not be true. I'm just using the word perception abroad for Indian services, was that they'll get the job done, services companies in India, but they might not do it using the right quality practices, right? So if you want a quick job done, okay, go to India for offshoring, getting your job done at a little bit of cheaper rate, getting it done fast. But if you want something that's sustainable, that's reliable, that's secure, people may not go to India. And that's kind of an impression that they had accumulated over a period of time. So we are out in a mission to change that whole mindset, to bring the product ideology, which is, intense quality in everything that we do, using the right software development practices to ensure that quality. Stuff like doing TDD in every line of code that we write, shifting left on testing, pairing on almost like 4 to 6 hours, sometimes 8 hours a day for our developers. And these are qualities that are very, very ingrained. This is not something that we do sometime, once a week. This is something that we do day in and day out. So yes, that's our mission, to bring quality to services. And most of our clients are out of India. We have a couple of clients in India as well. I think in the past 2 years that we've been around, it's showing. People are loving us. People are, appreciating the quality that we deliver. So why people should join us? If you want to learn how to do things, not just do them, but do them in the right way, provide pragmatic solutions to people, solve problems that are exciting for your clients, solve them for people in different domains. That's one perk of being in a services company, is that you're not going to be working in a singular domain for a long period of time. There are different projects which you can explore different industries and different domains with. So if you want to see a lot of the world, join a services company and join us to know how to do things in a right way. So that's what we call our people software crafts people and not developers. So every person who writes code at Incubyte is a software crafts person. You're expected to know your tools extremely well, right? You're expected to know your IDEs, your shortcuts, your languages extremely well. Almost like how a carver, somebody who's carving at a statue, they exactly know how to use which tools when. That's how we look at people in the tech industry as well. And this is not just developers, this is across the spectrum. It might be product people or QA people, all across the whole SDLC process. People who should not join us. Okay, so India, we have this whole theory of Jugaad, right? So Jugaad works certain times, but should not be used all the times, right? Again, coming back to the concept of doing things right, doing things the right way, thoughtfully, mindfully, putting your whole brain into it. So so if you want to do things right, especially you want to write the right code, that's when you should join us.
That's a great point about Jugaad. That reduces your talent pool size to 20%.
It does, Nikunj. We're suffering.
But I think that's a good battle to lose.
True. Wouldn't want it any other way.
Okay, you want to go next, Suma?
Suma, you're on mute.
Yeah, I'm sorry, my cursor got stuck. So Ganit at heart is a problem-solving organization. So basically, we are one of the niche organizations in the top quadrant who take up and solve advanced AI, ML, and deep learning problems. So we use all sorts of tools and techniques to extract value from data. And we provide all sorts of solutions related to data, which includes data engineering, data science, data analytics. So why join Ganit? So as I have already mentioned, if you are somebody who is extremely passionate about data and you are ready to deep dive in the journey of learnings, and if you are the one who can grab a new opportunity to learn something new every day and ready to work across, be flexible to work across different domains and always be open-minded, then I guess Ganit is a beautiful platform, and that's what we expect our candidates to believe and then get into this, choose this opportunity. But somebody kind of laid back, I wouldn't want to put it that harsh, but then somebody who wants to take the learning very slow and who thinks that, okay, I learned this today, let me learn that maybe some other day next time, but not immediately. That kind of attitude, I don't think you will be able to gel in, or you would be interested, because it's a teamwork. It's a teamwork because everybody is working shoulder to shoulder. I will actually pull you also into that group and play the game along. So that is something that you should be keen on before checking out Ganit's. Otherwise, you will really like the experience.
That's great. Thank you so much, all of you. So Amit actually wants to show how things work at CK12 quickly. So Amit, over to you.
Sure. Thanks, Supriya, for it. I think you need to enable the screen sharing for me.
Yeah, 1 second. Neeraj?
Yeah, try now.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, so let me just share my screen. So, just wanted to give a shout out. So, as I said, that CK12 is a learning platform, and it's free for all of our users. And like a few of the tenets that we are working on, a lot nowadays is about interactivity and intelligence in the platform. So we call it as as a student AI tutor. So it's basically technology that can help you and mentor you in your entire learning journey. So there are various courses that's available and various ways in which, these AI features work well for you to provide not just the spreadsheet of data, but help you with actionable insights that you can take upon. Also from the learning perspective, I told about the interactivity. So, as our, and by the way, I think all of us do work on these, the science content, and many of our, the developers being from the same background, one of our like experience also happens to be that, hey, I think why was all of these kind of things were not available? I wish of these kind of things were available when we were learning these things. So this is our take on the digital form of a textbook. So here you are seeing, a lesson about circles, etc., which is very familiar to the way that you see it in the textbook, but much more friendly and like is a real digital native in the form of that. Now, not only, I'm seeing just as a text, but I can leverage the interactivity to, make some things stand out and really good in terms of the learning. So these are all the animations, etc., that work out. You can play around with a lot of things. So for example, just to visualize that how, all these pies of the circle, could form up to be the parallelogram, and then help out that how does that shape is close to the rectangle and how does that relate with the area. Like all of these visualizations helps a lot in terms of engaging with the kids. And not only that these are just animatable, but I can go ahead and start interacting with them also. So I can see that how I'm changing some of it, and the textbook content changes with it, right? So think whatever I'm interacting with, things do change around. So these are some of the cool features that one can expect to be working on, let's say from the front end perspective.
Right.
One form of the interactivity also, like this, I showed you from the math perspective. Coming to the biology, this is kind of an interactive, which is talking about different parts of a cell, and I can quickly see that, hey, I think these are the ribosomes, and they happen to be there in all cells, like bacteria, animal, plants, and all that. And mitochondria, yeah, the bacteria doesn't have it, but both the living cells do have it. And like, this is the way that I can play around with these stuff, and a lot of interactive things to do, like tasks to do. So I can, I have to play around and see that whether I have labeled things well and all or not. So these are some of the interactivity functionalities that we have. And in terms of the intelligence, one of the things that we have built up, and it's just scratching the surface in terms of what technology can do. So here, this is a tutor to which I can ask anything related to the subject matter, or like even otherwise as well. It will try to do a best that it can do to answer, but I can ask questions in a very natural form. So for example, I can say that, hey, is cell wall permeable? And it is looking at our own content. It is using all the AI and the NLP at the back end to answer that question again in a very natural form by looking at and through our content. And there are tons of things, how all of this thing is helping in terms of the other functionalities that if I'm looking at this lesson, not only that I can of course ask those questions just the way that I did in the previous one, but great way of learning is that not only by what I'm seeing in a textbook or what does teacher teach me in the classroom, but also about when another kid asks about something in that subject in the classroom, it kind of picks my own curiosity as well. So we have kind of tried to give a taste of that by looking at this lesson, I can also go to the section and see that what are some of the interesting things that kids are asking or the fellow students are asking on this topic. And this helps me to ask my own questions and all these things. Again, all of this, as you're seeing, that it is about intelligence in the data, which of course like comes from the data, and all of that. I would say that there is, things about. Let me just quickly. So as you can see over here, that our platform, like there's a fair amount of usage of the platform. We get about million plus tens of millions of users, unique users every month. And these are some of the overall users that we have on the platform, how many questions they have ended up answering, how much of the customization of the books that have happened, and things like that. And also, let me just quickly show you that ours is a pretty international usage coming from the product. So is all the places from which the usage comes from. So yeah, I think if you're really passionate about the education as the end goal, and really are skilled in the technologies, the technological skills that you have, we'd like you to join CK12 and really make an impact by contributing to this novel mission. So that's why I think quick pitch about what we are doing and why we are doing, which is that we want this technology-based things to be able to provide very personalized and customized and interactive experience to everybody in the world for free.
That's great, Amit. Thank you so much for that.
And Amit, thanks for taking us down the memory lane in terms of the classes, both math and as well as bio. One thing I saw you, and you also mentioned it's free. So
Yes.
It's really free for the end consumers. And I also saw a button called donate. So that's how you generate revenue.
Yes. So yeah, I think we get donations and all that. But by the way, I think so CK12 is a philanthropic arm of Vinod Khosla. So bulk of our, the way that we are running the company, most of it, like any other VC funded company, comes from the VC money of Vinod. It's just that we don't need to, raise different rounds and all that. And in Vinod's world, I think why he wants to keep it that way is that this is too important a problem to be mired by, all those things. This requires long-term investment.
Yeah.
And that it's too important to not do it.
Yeah, that's why perhaps it is too pure. Actually, it is interactive. You have solved the right problems. Not really getting myopic in terms of business scaling and selling and all of that stuff.
Right. So our currency doesn't happen to be the revenue that we bring in, but really currency is in terms of what kind of learning impact we make in the life of our students. And,
Awesome.
and by the way, that's also is a very interesting, challenging problem to also ensure that how do you measure that?
Yeah, I was going to ask you that, but I was going to do that offline. That was awesome, Amit. Great work, great innovation there. Wish you all the best, and wish all of you all the best. I mean, Incubyte as well as where you're from, Suma?
Ganit.
Ganit, yeah. I saw. I was checking out a dashboard. Ganit is getting a lot of applications in the event. I think you are the top 5 most application getters. So I think your jobs and everything else looks to be good. People are interested in Ganit. So yeah, I mean, it was great to have you here. Do you have any other questions, Supriya, or are we done?
Just to add there, Incubyte in fact is the #1 company in that leaderboard who is getting most of the applications.
We are actually thinking of making the leaderboard public of the event, so you'll be able to see all the companies, how many applications they're getting and stuff like that. So let's hope we are able to get you that.
That's awesome. Thank you guys so much for doing this. It was great fun.
Yeah, thank you for the platform that you're providing us to know each other, like know the other organizations as well, because it became very rare for us after the pandemic and new normal. We hardly get to see anybody other than our organization employees. So I have gone through your video yesterday also, the session you had. It was quite exciting, and today's session, I guess it was quite interactive. So it's good. Thank you.
Yeah, every session is different a bit because every group is different. They're working on different things, and we want to let it go, take its own shape and form. So it's all about you. It's all about how you're driving it. And I think you had a great conversation today.
Thanks, Nikunj and the Cutshort team to provide this opportunity. Also, to the spread awareness, I think all of also I think would have the users of the CKTL as well. So encourage you to try and use it for your kids' education or whatever.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much, everyone, for joining this call. Suma, Amit, Arohi, thank you so much for giving your 1 hour and coming here, talking about the companies, giving us more information, giving the candidates the right pieces to relate to what you're working about.
Are you here?
Right. So this is it from our side. Thank you so much. Thank you to the candidates also who are watching this session. You can go ahead and check these companies on the platform. Their jobs are live in the event. So yes, thank you.